is, there it is. This is going to be audio and video recorded. So any additions or deletions to the agenda?
None that I'm aware of.
Any other commissioners? No?
No.
Okay. Then let's jump to it. I will recognize Marina from the licensing office to go through her part of the agenda. Marina?
Hi, everyone. So our licensing office received 3 new applications for the use of public properties, such as Children's Beach and Jetty's tennis courts. So those properties fall under review by the Park and Rec Commission. That's why we brought those 3 requests to you. The first request we have, Nantucket Island Fair is requesting to use Children's Beach on September 24th. From 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. for agricultural fair with fair games and contests and local musicians. I believe we have someone from Island Fair to present that event. Jivy?
Oh, that's me.
Okay.
Actually, it should be Abby. And she hasn't joined us yet, so I just sent her a text. Hopefully she'll be on board in a minute. She has many more of the details. But basically, we're looking to do a mini island fair just for one day for a few hours at Children's Beach on September 24th. We are now a charitable fund under the Community Foundation for Nantucket. So this will be a small event, and then we'll launch the usual Nantucket Island Fair down at Tom Nevers next year. But we just felt it was important not to miss a year. And of course, last year, you all know we got clobbered by a near hurricane. So we are going to make a relatively small event, and we're hoping that you'll approve us having it at Children's Beach on September 24th.
Do we have any conflicts with that schedule, either Marina or David?
No, I don't have anything going on at that time. My only concern is parking and also how the tents are put in the ground, because there's a sprinkler system in the lawn.
Yes, that is a concern of ours. We're not going to be using big tents. We're going to be using small tents, 10 by 10s, but we would need to do some sort of a, I don't know the correct terminology, some kind of, protection to make sure we don't damage anything when we put up our tents. Like a safe dig or something of that nature.
So the small 10 by 10s, if they're just being pinned into the ground with the short nails, should be okay.
Okay, we're not doing anything bigger than that.
All right, yeah, because I'm just looking at the plan here. There's the 20 by 20.
Yep.
As long as that's a 10 by 10, it's pinned with those small things, and then some, it can be sandbagged, be weighed down. Fine with that. Some of the questions that I had as staff was the food trucks are not allowed at Children's Beach.
Okay.
And we also have a conflict of interest there with the food vendor.
We've met with them, and they're going to open that day for the event and serve food. And so we're working with them to make sure whatever we do, like a popcorn truck or cotton candy or that kind of thing, would not conflict. We are hoping to be able to have the Legion come and do something, because that is kind of historical with the fair. But if it can't be food trucks, we understand.
Yeah, so food trucks just aren't allowed down in the area.
Okay.
As is. And then I had a pretty lengthy conversation with Abby and Stacy, the owners of and operators of Gypsy. So their concerns were that there would be nothing, they were okay with things like, cotton candy, or if it was like fried dough or something like that, but nothing that conflicted with their or competed with their ability to sell. Because they are a licensed vendor down there.
Sure.
They do pay for that space.
Absolutely. We get
those
that.
would be their kind of restrictions.
Okay. So if we work with them and make sure that whatever is sold is not in conflict with what they're selling, we're good with that.
Yep.
Okay.
I did have a question come down to me from upper and admin about the animals in the area. There was some concern.
Okay,
It kind of wasn't high on their list to do the animals downtown.
okay. Well, we're not talking about big animals. We're talking about, maybe some, goats. And some relatively small animals, just because that's a big attraction for the kids. So do you want to give us some parameters as to what we could or couldn't do?
I'd have to run it back by town admin. Just they kind of kick back with a kind of a no on the animals, and they had some concerns of their own about the overall use for the space, because whether or not it fits within what should be allowed was kind of what got pushed down to me.
Okay, well, just
So
let us
I will-
know,
I
and
will
we'll-
ask,
We'll work with you and do whatever. we
If
need
you could
to
email
do.
me a list of what you guys are thinking about bringing in as far as animals, and I can check that. We might also have to work with. I don't know if Board of Health had anything to say about animals and goats and stuff in proximity to a food vendor.
Okay, all right, we'll get to the list. And a thumbs up, thumbs down. We'll make it.
Marina, do you have something else?
Yes, other concern is like right now on the application, you submitted 400 people. So technically, every event that proposed over 250 people is considered public assembly event, and public assembly event has to go through the public hearing with select board. So this is like, we need clarification. Do you think 400 people will be through the whole day, or is it at any single time you expecting
No,
to have
this-
400 people?
No, that's gonna be throughout the whole day, over the 6-hour period of time. We're
Okay.
expecting maybe 50, 60 people at a time, people who come in. Most of them are gonna come in, when they're already in town. They're gonna hear that it's going on. We're gonna do some marketing. We have a relatively short window that we can even promote this event. But we did want to have something. And, so we're not expecting a big turnout by any stretch.
Thank you. Clarification.
And,
Mike, I-
go ahead, please, David.
Yeah, another concern I have is the condition of the restrooms right now, because the luxury trailer that is there has been down for over a month because of somebody putting in something in the system, and so they've not been able to be used. So there are 2 porta potties on the street, plus the 2 bathrooms in the building. So that may be something you want to think about, is where the porta potties, how many porta potties need to be there on site with all these people.
And Charlie, you mentioned parking as something that was voiced to you. So what is that plan?
Yeah, that's another one, just with the overall, with the potential for the number of people. Obviously parking becomes kind of an issue in the area. It's not like the area won't be specifically shut down, for this. So there was the question raised as to parking. A lot of the event, I'm not sure what the answer to that is. If we're only think a few people at a time, it might work. It could be a disaster. I don't know.
Well, I'm waiting for Abby to come in. She thought the meeting was at 5. I just texted her. Sorry. Hopefully she'll be here in a moment and she'll be able to provide some clarification, since she has been and running this event for a number of years and is pretty familiar with a lot of these issues. Sorry, I'm new to the team.
So
Well, should we go on, Marina, to the second one, and then we'll come back and I'll ask for a vote on the first one later?
yes, we can do it. So we can go right now to our second request, which is Nantucket Magic requesting to use tennis courts at the Jetties Beach on October 7th for pickleball tournament. So we had that request on our last agenda, but it got tabled and they changed the date. So right now it's going to be over in Columbus, over Columbus weekend. And we have someone from Nantucket Magic to talk about it.
Hi.
Hello.
Grace. I work with Mary and Annie. And I can give like a quick overview on the event. We decided to push it off to Columbus Day just because Island will be a little less busy. And the people that we are really excited about having there said that they would love to be there for Columbus Day. So we're thinking about 70 attendees, probably 60 or so participants. All of the
I lost audio.
I think
Yeah.
she-
She paused.
Grace, we can't hear you.
and as well as tickets to the event.
Grace, so
and
you paused and you like froze for a while, so we only heard 60 or so participants, and then we didn't hear the rest.
oh, sorry about that.
That's
Am
okay.
I good now?
Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
no, it's okay
So we're
if you don't mind starting over.
all good. I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Is it good now?
Yeah, it's in and out.
Sorry, hold on. Let me just move rooms in my house. I don't know why
I
it's
think
happening.
if all of us could go on mute, that might help.
Okay. Okay, so hopefully you can hear what I'm saying now, but 70 attendees, I think we'll have 60 or so participants and then 10 people on staff. All of the proceeds that we're going to be donating will go to Housing Nantucket. And these proceeds are coming in the form of sponsors as well as people purchasing tickets to the event. So we got a list from Marina about all of the requirements that we need. So we have our waivers done. We have the hold harmless agreement done and attached here, I think, and the NFD form. The only thing that we're still waiting on is the certificate of insurance. And we were just wondering if you guys had any info on that, but I guess we can talk about that after we get approval.
Grace, I'm not in the loop on the insurance, but I would ask if you have spoken to the local group that plays pickleball. I would imagine you have. Grace, we've lost you completely now, video and audio.
She's muted as well.
Yeah.
Hi, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep. Nope.
Grace, can you hear now?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Okay, you're in and out, but give it a shot. I asked a quick question about whether you had spoken with the local pickleball group.
No, we have not.
I think
Um,
both for marketing and just courtesy, that probably would be a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll definitely do that once we get this maybe approved by you guys and make sure that they're involved. Because I know a lot of people we're talking to that wanted to be involved are part of the club.
Right. Marina, anything on the insurance? Have you received what you need, or is that still outstanding?
I'm still waiting on insurance. So most of the nonprofit organizations that organize athletic events, they usually have their policy and they can add additional events, or sometimes they request through different organizations. I'm sure there are different companies where they can just buy one-day insurance for that specific event. So I usually work with event planners for like events when they don't have policy. We suggest company where they buy different types of policies, because we had same issue with the concert last on the last agenda, Sweet Melissa, she didn't have policies, so she bought insurance just for 1 day. So I'm
Right.
just not sure if that specific organization is providing insurance for athletic events, because I mean, it kind of falls under pickleball tournament. But we can work on it.
Okay. Yeah. if you could
Other
send me-
question was, Charlie, have you heard back from town administration about the use of the upper jetties parking lot for fall sewer project?
I have not. I'm still waiting to hear. They will be using it. I'm just not sure of their start date, so we should be able to, since it's taking place on the courts, we should be able to make it work. The courts were open last year while Robert Hour was set up in the upper parking lot.
So my suggestion would be, since Sandbar Restaurant is still open for the general public on Columbus Day weekend, so lower parking lot, which is closer to the jetty Sandbar, it's kind of reserved for Sandbar patrons. So you would just need to use upper parking lot wherever we have available for your tournament, and maybe participants should just park on the Basin Beach Road. And just try to keep a parking lot closer to the Sandbar for the Sandbar visitors.
Do
Thank
any commissioners have any questions? Okay, if not, I would entertain a motion to approve this, subject to ensuring that they have the proper insurance coverage for the event.
Yes,
Nikki,
I second that.
okay, Nikki, you were muted, but I think
I was
think
muted.
you
Yeah,
made
I
the
second
motion.
that.
Okay,
Second it, subject to, like you said, Michael, with the insurance all being sorted out first.
okay.
Yeah.
So Merrill, thank you for making that motion, and Nikki, thank you for seconding. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Grace, you have your approval, and just finish up that insurance piece with Marina offline at some point.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry about my technical difficulty.
That's
Oh, no,
okay.
it's okay. Not you.
Thank you.
Suzanne, are you ready now or not?
No, I'm trying to, Abby's on natural
I'm-
resources.
Okay.
I'm on.
Oh,
Can
you're
you-
on. Oh, okay, there she is. Okay, here she is.
Okay.
Sorry. So sorry.
Great. No, that's okay. There were a couple of questions that came up, Abby, and concerns. One concern being that animals might not be allowed. Is this the first you're hearing of that?
Yeah, because we were told that they would not be allowed on the grass, but we were hoping to put them down sort of in the corner by the toilets, by the parking area, or
Yeah.
on the path by the beach. Is that?
I think that Charlie had said that he'd like to get a list of what animals would be there, and then he will check it with the powers that be and get back to you as to whether that could be allowed.
Okay.
Okay.
Because some of them would be small animals in cages on tables, which would probably be fine, right? Because they won't even be on the ground. But then.
Charlie, you might want to.
Yeah, if you could just send me the list. I've got an email out to Roberto just to make sure, because how tight this site is compared to things in the past. If there's any issue with proximity to food vendors, with
Okay.
the animals and that sort of stuff, where it's in the past, the food, it's been much more separated. Food and
Okay.
animals. So I want to make sure that the health department is okay.
Okay, and we were hoping to do a little dog show, but I know dogs aren't allowed there. If they were part of a show and on leashes, is that possible or no?
I'm not sure, David, have we ever done anything like that before?
Over Daffodil
yeah.
weekends, they have a dog show every Daffodil weekend at Children's Beach. They have it, I believe, on the sidewalk and near the bandstand. So they didn't have dogs on the grass.
Right, so if we kept the dogs off the grass and sort of did like a circle around the whole perimeter on the walkways, do you think that's okay?
I would be fine with that.
Okay. And then the other point I think that was made, Abby, was that you couldn't have food trucks that would compete with the vendor. You could have things like popcorn and cotton candy, but nothing that would directly compete with a vendor down at the beach.
Right, and we've been in contact with Stacy and Abby and Liliana over there at Gypsy. So we've kind of got it figured out. We're just gonna do a few food vendors and they're gonna take the bulk of the food. And we're also, their other concern was that we weren't gonna have enough seating because they just have basically what fills their little area there. So we were gonna the fair owns, I think, 12 picnic tables. We were going to bring 4 or 5 and put them in the little area there that says food court.
Okay, sounds like a good solution.
Okay.
Anything else, commissioners, or Charlie?
I think we covered, the tent stuff and the animals. Looks like Chantal's got her hand up.
And just feedback on the food trucks. Even if they provide something else, food trucks just not allowed at Children's Beach. So they can have additional food vendors, such as probably popcorn machine and something else, as long as there is permission from Children's Beach concession, but food trucks not going to be allowed in downtown historic area.
Okay. So does that include or not include the little carts like Big Hug Dumplings or the Pizza Wagon?
I would be concerned with Pizza Wagon. I think it's open fire, and I'm not sure we would need to check with fire department, but definitely not a food trucks. I feel like Dylan Wallace, Nantucket native, he is considered a mobile food unit. So he falls in the category of food trucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
any of the
it's
mobile food units, I think, would also need health department.
Yeah.
Temporary
Right.
permits down here, whereas, if it was like a cotton candy machine on a table, I think that's different.
Okay. And Big Hug Dumplings probably is, I mean, she knows how to get the permit and everything, but she's just that little.
I think she falls also in the category of mobile food units.
So that's a no for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Dan Todd, did you have a question?
Yes, I was actually going to clarify the mobile food unit situation. And also I had a question about parking, because we do have, we have gotten complaints from the Brant Point Association about parking down there, even for small things like our Sunday concerts at Children's Beach that gets maybe 30 people. So I was wondering if you guys had a parking plan or have a plan for communicating that parking plan to folks who might be coming.
No, I think we were gonna encourage folks to take the shuttle into town. But that was as far as we had got with that
A long walk.
from the shuttle stop.
Yeah, they'd have to go across town to walk from like Washington Street all the way up there. It's about a 15-minute walk.
Yeah.
If I might recommend, when you guys post on, if this is approved, when you guys post on social, if you can just make sure that you're very clear, take the shuttle, ride your bike, carpool, just so we don't end up having folks complaining later on that there was no communication about the lack of parking and all that good stuff. Just save you guys a little bit of headache for the
Sure.
future.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, absolutely. And I apologize that I missed the beginning. I have one, are you going to be able to mark out where the irrigation is so that we don't hit it with our tents?
Yeah, we talked about,
Yeah, we
like,
did
all
talk
the
about
tents
that,
were going
Ed.
to be 10 by 10s with the small stakes and sandbags, so we shouldn't run into the irrigation. It should be deep enough for those.
Oh, okay, the 20 by 20 does have the big stakes though.
Okay.
The one-
Then you will need to have review it with someone because those will compromise the irrigation.
Right, and I believe Chris Bistany is in charge of the irrigation over there.
It's an off-island company now.
Oh,
Unfortunately, Chris didn't rebid with us. I can work with them to get it staked.
okay. Thank you. Because the scarecrow stakes also go into the ground, so I don't want to mess up anything.
Okay, are there other questions by commissioners? Or,
No questions, but I am concerned about the parking, especially if there's been complaints already with the smaller things, you know, and this does have the potential to be quite big. And especially as there's a lot of people around, you know, even, you know, people visiting, there's a lot of people around at that time of year on the weekends, lots of day trippers. And I think for some reason, I just think it could be bigger than we think. And that parking does scare me. Or lack of parking scares, you know, worries me a bit.
yep.
That would be my concern, really.
Abby, would you be open to an alternative venue? If I had space, say at the Nobody or soccer field complex, to put you guys onto one of the fields there, would that be a possibility? That would kind of alleviate any of the food truck issues. Anybody, they would just have to get temporary permits. But we've done that before there. Just as an alternative, I would throw it out there.
I'm not
Okay.
sure we have the time, though. I mean, we have 4 weeks. So even the promotion is going to be minimal with just 4 weeks to be able to announce that we're having this event. We have no volunteers recruited yet. I mean, it's still pretty rough and ready. So I'm not thinking it's going to be an extravaganza by any stretch of the imagination.
Chantal?
I don't know if you guys would be interested in partnering with Culture and Tourism. I'd be happy to help you guys get that going. I know you have a short time frame, but the amount of folks that we've had in our office or calling and emailing our office asking about it, I think you're going to get a bigger crowd than you're anticipating, because there's been a lot of murmurs around town about it. But again, if you guys are, which is great, that's great. It means people want to see this come back. I personally want to see it happen. So if you guys are interested in partnering, I'd be happy to have an offline conversation about it to see how I can help support you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
I'm also wondering, does that mean that the because isn't the Island Fair usually out in like Tom Nevers or on the Cranberry Bogs or something?
Tom Nevers.
I'm never.
So is that not happening then? Because you're doing this?
This was sort of, well, so we've transitioned from last year, we were partnered with NCF and we were doing the Harvest Fair. And this year we've gone under the nonprofit envelope of Community Foundation. So we're on our own. But
Okay.
unfortunately, we didn't get that going soon enough. So we kind of have to do sort of like a smaller event because we just don't have it in us to put it together for this year for Tom Nevers. But we
Right.
kind of do something as sort of a proof of concept, really, so that people know that the Island Fair is still out there. So that's
it.
really what we're trying to aim for with this, is just so that to prove that we're still out there, we're going, and that we really want to get back to Tom Nevers and do it the way we always have.
Yeah. And then my other comment about the parking is like, in my head, I see this as like, oh, people are downtown anyways, and like they're with their kids and they just go, they like hear about it and they show up, and it's not, but I don't know, maybe that's because I don't have children or whatnot, but it feels more like something that people will just like walk to. Like, I don't feel like parking would be as much of an issue, because like take the sustainable market, for example, like no one can park really near there. I mean, because it's like downtown, people are doing errands anyways, people just like happen upon it. So I don't know, that's how I'm envisioning it.
Yeah, that was kind of what we thought too, because we did partner with Sustainable and do like a mini fair 2 years ago. And that was, we sort of
Oh, I
worked
remember that.
the market, and
Yep.
there was no problem it was just, like you said, people just were there for the sustainable market and then just kind of wandered into the fair. So this will just be kind of a,
Right.
David?
One thing to keep in mind, there is a boat ramp there and a lot of trucks with their trailers are usually parked along the side, especially along the White Elephant where there's a 30-minute load unload thing there. And they're always staging, trying to go into the water or out of the water. So that's something to consider as well.
So, yeah, I guess I'm sitting here with a former hat on, and I have no right to speak for the schools, so I'm not speaking for the schools. But I wonder if that wouldn't be a better partner and spot for this, because you'd have parking, field space, and it's across from the Boys and Girls Club. I don't know, just a thought, but sounds like you're committed to this site if you can get it approved.
yeah. I mean, we'd really prefer this site just because we've done sort of all the groundwork and spoken to everybody and we sort of have some initial, we obviously wanted to get approved first, but initial promotion out there. A lot of it has to do with, it's nice that there's porta potties and toilets already there too,
Mhm.
which is.
Okay, other comments by the commissioners? If not, I will entertain a motion so that we can take a vote on this. Anybody want to make a motion?
Well, I'm just wondering, I want to approve it, but I'm wondering if like that can't happen until the list of animals gets approved by Charlie and et cetera. Like, are we able to make a
You
motion?
can make
to
a
approve?
motion with the animals contingent to town admin approval.
Okay, well, then I do that.
I'll
So
second
Meryl, you are, if I heard you correctly, making a motion to approve contingent on the
Approval of animal list.
animal and food vendor, all
Yes.
of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I second that.
thank you, Nikki. All right, well, let's see where this falls. I'll ask for all those who approve the motion to say aye,
I
and any opposed. Okay, hearing none, I would say that it is approved unanimously, but again, contingent on getting final approval from administration on those issues.
Fantastic.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Good luck. I hope it's well attended, but not like it sometimes is at Tom Nevers.
We'll try and walk that fine line for you.
Okay.
We'll do our best.
And I do think,
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll take Chantal up on her offer, because she can reach a lot with your marketing for it.
That'd be great.
Wonderful. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And Marina, one more? We can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry. Hi. Okay,
Hi.
we have one more request from Nantucket Project. They would like to use Children's Beach for the class, for yoga class or breathing class. We have Jackie from Nantucket Project who can talk about it.
Hi, everyone. So we would like to do Friday morning and Saturday morning from 7 to 8:30. It would be a breathing and stretching class. Our guests would sign up for it through our app, but we can definitely, any townspeople that walk up and would want to participate, we can accommodate them. We would provide either towels or mats. We're debating on which one. And we're also looking into headsets so that the instructor would be able to speak to people and, guide them through the breathing and the stretching. And we would have enough for anyone that walked up as well. So we have done events at Children's Beach before, but it's been several years. So Marina, this is my first time at a town hall meeting, and Marina has been very helpful in guiding me through this. So if there's any questions I can answer. Or...
I do have one question. We have approved some different yoga and meditation programs in the past, and I would hope that we're not competing with one of our own approved programs, Marina.
We have usually class that Bettina teaches, but her class is going to be done on a Labor Day weekend. So you should have your last class, I believe, like first week of September. So this is request for October. There should be no conflict.
Wonderful, thank you. Other questions from other commissioners?
I just have one question. Can I come?
God, of course, would love to have anybody. The more the merrier. But not too many, No parking issues, nothing like that. No lines.
I guess the other question that does come to my mind, Jackie, is that with headsets that would negate any volume issues down there.
I mean, that's what we're thinking also, just in terms of the way the class is, it should be, again, sort of calming and soothing. So we didn't want to have any kind of speakers or anything like that. So we're actually looking into the headsets that we use normally for the Nantucket project under the tent. So we can, definitely get enough. And since we're having our guests register for it, we'll have a good idea of head count. And then I'm thinking somewhere between maybe +10, +15% to cover any walk-ups, from the local community. So
wonderful. Any other questions from commissioners?
Nope.
Then I will entertain a motion to approve this request.
Yep, I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, there you have it, Jackie. And
thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I noticed that Ken is on an iPhone, and Ken, if you want to take over, you're more than welcome to.
I'm sorry, I'm just asking, I can go? Should I go?
Yes.
Okay, thank you again so much. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Okay, I'm going to continue then at this point. Marina, you've concluded your part, right?
Yes, we only had 3 requests.
Okay. And David, anything before I turn it over to Charlie?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay, great. Charlie, it's all yours.
All righty. Not much to report. We're getting towards the end of the season. Everything's running pretty smoothly. We're on pace. Hopefully have our cameras up in most locations in October. The company's gonna come out and do the install, so that'll be a big thing for us. Otherwise, everything's going pretty much par for the course. We're gonna be hosting Nantucket High School soccer at the Noble Deer Fields for their preseason, starting next week for the next 2 weeks, kind of throughout the day for their double sessions. They've been doing some work to the soccer fields, and they don't want to stress the brand new sod just yet. So we're happy to help and fill that request. We've had some requests for possibility for expanded use by the high school of the turf field for the coming season, but we're kind of working those out with coaches and the athletic department there, is to make sure everything kind of works well. So as much as we can help out, and get as much use out of that turf field as we can, we're happy to help.
That's wonderful to hear. And I know a lot of those athletes end up playing their playoffs on turf field. So any opportunity that they get to play on those, it can be a very different game.
Yeah, it can make a big difference for, for especially, for soccer, and which will be our main thing in the fall, but in the spring again, lacrosse and even field hockey, if the ball reacts differently. So anything we can do to help them as they go off island to compete.
Wonderful.
We'll be looking to do so.
Anything else, Charlie?
Not much else. I'm in the process of trying to find a new vendor to come down to service the turf field for us. And with the increased use request from the high school, I'm going to try to increase the amount that they come down to a few times a season.
Wonderful. That's great.
Yeah. Other than that, I think everything, that's kind of all I have to report.
Okay, Justin, you've been listening patiently. Do you have any questions or comments?
I don't know. Maureen invited me and I didn't say anything on the agenda. So I thought I'd sit in.
Okay, I guess.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. If you have something that you would like to speak to.
Well, only to what Charlie, just to follow up on what Charlie said about the schools currently using the turf field. Like tonight, there's probably, I don't, maybe 6 or 8 groups that'll use the field tonight towards 8 o'clock tonight. And as you know, it's starting to get dark at about 7:20. And I know we voted for the funding to put lights up, but there's a lot of kids out there and adults. And it's dark at 8 o'clock. And then the follow-up thing was, I didn't know where we're left off at this point with the feasibility study.
Maybe Charlie has some information. on
I'm
that.
not sure. I know Jill. I think Jill would probably know more of it than I would. I know she was working with talking to the select board about some funding sources and trying to get that pushed through. So it's actually odd. This has been the longest. I don't think I've gone talking to Jill about the indoor project. Usually it's multiple times a week. She must have been busy toward.
I know that she did approach Libby and at least one other member of the board, but I think maybe we'll put her on the next agenda, or put that issue on the next agenda, Justin, and try to get an update.
Great.
Okay.
I think the last thing that I would say is just remind the board, I believe we are going to get the Article 15, the Nobody or Field expansion on to special town meeting. I'm still waiting for the 100% on that, because and unfortunately it'll be towards the end of everything. I think all the short-term rental stuff is going first. So there's the potential to be kind of a long drawn out meeting there. But if it gets on the agenda, as much support as we can have for it to speak, to why, what we're looking to do, so we can hopefully get it through it at the special and then start some more progress instead of having to wait all the way for the annual.
That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Okay, Shanta, that's a clap, not a question, right? Okay, everyone. I think that concludes the agenda. Am I correct, Charlie?
Yes.
And so we will adjourn a little earlier tonight. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good night.